Ahoy hoy, I'm Planarwalk, and for the love of God, please stop it!
It's time to stop! It's time to stop, okay? No more! Where the fuck are your parents?
So recently, there was a fire at the Notre Dame Cathedral, when there's really no reason to think it's suspicious. Or is there? I mean, why trust people that actually know what they're talking about when you can just make up shit? It's so logical! Sure, there have been investigations into it asking how it happened, but we all know that they can't be trusted because they're working for they. It's like 9/11 2.0. We all know jet fuel can't melt wood. By the way, if you're laughing at that, there are actually people claiming that the wood wouldn't have burned. I'm not even joking. Check this out. So I guess because a blowtorch outside can't ignite a 300-year-old piece of wood, that means that it was fake! Because everyone knows that the best way to light a fire is by lighting the biggest piece of wood you can, right? On a completely unrelated note, I think that the last bit is going to start a completely unrelated conspiracy in the comments. But back to the topic at hand, you're all completely insane! It seems that these days, whenever something happens, people make a conspiracy about it. It's like that meme, right, where something exists, but conspiracy theorists go, "It's a conspiracy." But what amazes me is that this fire, only because it's become so noticeable, has turned into a conspiracy, whereas there was a fire earlier this month in Bangladesh which wasn't a conspiracy. At least not that I know of. I mean, there could be a conspiracy. Fuck it, I'll start a conspiracy right now. It was a conspiracy to enforce building regulations on everyone. Now, I'm honestly not too surprised that U was thinking that it was a conspiracy. But what I was surprised about was everyone else that thought it was a conspiracy, like Armoured fucking Skeptic. This is someone that has been fighting crazy, silly conspiracy theories like Flat Earth for ages, but now he's suddenly getting on board with them. What in the actual fuck, Greg? I mean, sure, you can believe in conspiracies if you want, but if you're a skeptic, you really shouldn't be spreading them without any evidence. Now, to his credit, he has made a few ambiguous tweets which suggest that he may think that he was wrong. And I'm also glad that he didn't make a video on it, because anyone who makes a video thinking that this is a conspiracy theory, that's embarrassing. But when you do look at the videos that Greg puts out, a few months ago he made a video explaining why the California wildfires weren't a conspiracy. So surely you'd think that he'd be rational enough to think, maybe the Notre Dame fire wasn't a conspiracy theory as well, just like the California fires. Sure, people were claiming that the California fires were created by lasers, which is far more ridiculous than the Notre Dame theories. But to me it seems like, and I could be wrong, he's read something like a Paul Joseph Watson article or something like that and thought, maybe Paul Joseph Watson might be onto something. And of course a lot of these people like Paul Joseph Watson, what they're doing is they're jacking off, which means just asking questions. That way, when they're actually criticized about it, they can go, but I didn't actually believe that. I was just asking questions. And if you are just asking questions, here's a good question to ask for that kind of thing. Why are you sure it wasn't arson? Because that's a far more rational question and much more likely to get an answer than, was this ISIS? And the reason why is because asking, is this ISIS, sounds much more like a rhetorical question than an actual question. So I'd like to create a new internet rule which will ultimately go ignored, but to be valid of using just asking questions as a response to criticism, you have to make sure your questions that you are asking are actual questions, that you're not going, asking rhetorical questions or questions that can be considered as a rhetorical question, especially if that question is hyper-specific and has a sort of underlying presumption of what the actual answer is going to be. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. So when it comes to the clip at the beginning, there were a few reasons why that wood didn't burn. The first reason that I'd point to is that it was outside. We don't know the conditions of it outside, so it could have been hot, but it also could have been cold. If it's cold, then it's far less likely to catch on fire than if it's hot. But when it comes to the people that actually know what they're talking about, they'd say something along the lines of, the burning would create a protective layer, which would stop the wood beyond that layer from catching fire. And that is why that 300-year-old bit of wood didn't catch fire. But one thing I did notice about the clip, particularly the audio, it sounded like the person that was speaking was trying to hide who he was for some reason. It seems that he might be paranoid that they are coming to get him because he's onto it. But here's the problem if that's the case. Someone like me can easily go ahead and make you sound how you're supposed to sound. All you have to do is speed up the audio. But when it comes to the fire starting, I'd say something like an electrical spark probably ignited something more flammable than the wood, which subjected the wood to a lot of heat, and eventually the wood caught fire. And to me, that seems like a perfectly logical and reasonable explanation for the fire starting. It could have happened a different way, but I really have no reason to think that. And I'll admit, I don't know how good an electrical spark is at starting a huge fire, but I don't think I want to find out. But shouldn't we do experiments to test that? Don't you fucking dare, Karen. Then how can you say that it's not a part of the 40 days of sacrifice by the Illuminati and the Freemasons? What the fuck? Where are you getting this from? I think you know where. Yes, I do know where. Nowhere. Wait, actually... Oh, for fuck's sakes. You've been speaking to who, haven't you? Well, he did point out that it happened on Holy Week, so it's obviously a conspiracy. It was a coincidence, Karen. You've got something like a 1 in 52 chance of an event like this falling on any particular week. And let's just say that in some alternate universe, this event didn't happen on Holy Week. Let's say that it happened a week before Christmas. People would still be claiming that because it happened a week before Christmas, that it's a conspiracy, which then raises the odds to 1 in 26, and that's not accounting for all the other times of the year that it could fall on that it could count as a conspiracy for some people. Why do people like this exist? And to answer that question, you could actually check out Faraday Speaks' video on it. Apparently he's going to be releasing it either today or maybe tomorrow, I don't know. Apparently his video will deal more with the thought process. I'll link it in the description when I see it if I remember. And if I had to guess, he's probably going to talk more about the people that think that Muslims did it, rather than the people that think that it's the Illuminati as some part of an Agenda 21 depopulation. Wait, what? Didn't no one die? That's just what they want you to think. Well, do you have any evidence that people died in that, though? I haven't seen my son Todd since the day of the fire. But Karen, you don't even live in paradise. Wait, did you even file a missing persons report for Todd? No, because if they find Todd, then they'll inject him with the vaccines and he'll become addicted to injecting marijuanas. That's not how any of that works. There is absolutely no evidence that the Illuminati exists, or that there's some 40-day sacrifice thing. But one of the other conspiracy theories, which is so easily debunked by the way, is that ISIS started the fire. And to debunk that, you just have to do one thing. Just look at the recent bombings. ISIS claimed responsibility for that. If ISIS claimed responsibility for the bombings, don't you think that they'd claim responsibility for the Notre Dame burning? Now I know that Paul Joseph Watson was saying that a lot of Muslims were celebrating the fact that the cathedral was burning, and I honestly don't doubt that. You could probably find atheists and Hindus that were celebrating it too. In fact, one of the points that was brought up to support the theory that Muslims did it was the fact that a whole lot of churches in France have been vandalized over the past year, which wasn't caused by Muslims, but was actually done by secularists. So if they were connected, then it wouldn't be Muslims doing it. And honestly, as someone who considers myself secular, I disagree with vandalizing churches. So if secularists are going ahead and burning churches to try and make people believe in their cause, I doubt that would work. And there's probably a lot more that can be said, but the bottom line is that there's no evidence for these conspiracy theories. Sure, you can entertain the idea. I entertain all kinds of crazy ideas, but I don't think that you should say that it's a conspiracy unless you have good evidence that it's a conspiracy. Because I could create a conspiracy theory which is just as baseless. I could say that it was people like Paul Joseph Watson that started the fire in order to create conspiracy theories about Muslims starting the fire. But anyway, leave a like and subscribe if you like this video. Leave a comment letting me know your opinion. As I said earlier, be sure to check out Faraday Speaks' video on it. I haven't seen it because it's not available at the time of recording, but I think it will be good. As always, a big shout out to my $20 or more patrons, Agnostic, Aussie, and what, Jesus? If you want to support me financially, you can do so on Patreon. Link will be in the description. But anyway, I will see you in the next video. Between you and me, thank you for watching.
Paul Watson spread some news, sounds like 1 + 3 is 2. Muslims happy on Facebook, Paul is there to take a look. Immigrants are on the shore, something about Sharia law. Armoured skeptics falling for, I can't take it anymore.
I don't know what the fuck's going on with my hair. It's really hard to see when